Hi, welcome to Dance Muse. I'm your host, Kristen Patton, and you are in for a treat with today's special guest, Los Angeles-based dancer and photographer Lee Gumbs. Lee is one of today's most popular photographers in the dance industry and beyond. And that is because he's a complete master when it comes to the art of capturing beautiful and intriguing images on film. In today's episode, Lee talks to us about how his background in dance inspires and influences his work in photography today. We also chat about his experiences growing up as a young male dancer before he danced professionally with the Bad Boys of Ballet. And Lee has some great tips for aspiring artists on why it's totally worth it to just go for it when it comes to going after your big dreams. Thanks for joining us today. Enjoy. Lee, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me.
How has your day been going so far today? Where are you joining us from?
I am in downtown Los Angeles in my apartment, which I live and work from, as you can see with some of my equipment in the back. But my day's been good.
Well, thank you so much for making time for us. A lot of times there could be challenges for boys who decide that they really want to do something in any artistic, creative environment. Did you have any challenges with that? What was that like for you?
Pretty much any boy, I'm assuming before. I feel like today's generation is a little bit different because it seems like they're a lot more exposed to different things. And now dancing is cool, like with TikTok and all those little dances. So I feel like now, I don't know because I'm not in school, but I'm assuming it could be a cool thing to be able to dance. But back when I was in school, I got bullied, picked on, but nothing so severe where I didn't want to go to school or like couldn't handle it. Like I always had pretty tough skin and would try to, I guess, hide it from classmates at school. Like I remember someone I'm still friends with today, she sat across from me in 6th grade. I guess she had went to my studio and she was like, wait, do you go to this studio, blah, blah, you look familiar. And I was like, no, I was like, oh, like I just take hip hop there. Like I didn't want anyone to know that I did ballet or jazz or anything that was considered quote unquote girly to little kids that don't know anything. But little kids are so mean. Middle school, I just feel like all the kids try to pick on someone about something. I don't know why. I guess it's just middle school is the most insecure stage. I guess people, you're going through puberty, your hormones are changing. So everyone's just trying to pick on someone. And so high school wasn't so bad, but I would think middle school was the time that I probably got bullied the most for dancing and stuff like that.
What advice would you give for any young men who are choosing to dance today?
My advice is to, if you don't have a natural facility or you're not naturally flexible, to really really stretch and work on that, work on your technique, because once you're an adult, boys are valued because there's less of boys or men than women. So I think if you're wanting to dance and you're young, to like take it very seriously because there's a good chance that you can become successful and you can make a living off of it. And with school and bullying, it's like it is serious in the moment and it can hurt you really bad, but none of it is going to affect you when you're an adult like you think it will. So I think just keep pushing through, keep working hard. Don't pay people attention who are bringing you down and just focus on, like, I was best friends with my dance friends way more than my school friends. So I just would leave school, go to dance and just be with all my best friends having the best time ever. And yeah, I think it's important to confide in those friends that you trust. And if you're going through something, talk to them about it, have fun with them, and just put your energy into training and getting better. And fingers crossed, it'll turn into a career.
How did you overcome some of those things? What was your support system like? You said your mom danced. Did you have a strong family support system or just you yourself? You mentioned you have strong skin.
Yeah, I have strong skin, but my family was a huge support system. My mom was the reason I started dancing. She wanted me to dance. She supported me and my sister, throughout our whole dance training in high school before we moved out. She would drive us to intensive. She drove me like 10 hours one time to Denise Wall's intensive for like one day because it was a 2-day intensive. And, I don't come from a wealthy family, so my mom could only afford one day. And then once I got there and Denise saw me and saw, I reminded her so much of Danny Tidwell, which, rest in peace. But yeah, she wouldn't stop talking about how much I reminded her of Danny. And so she let me do the second day for free, which was super sweet. But I think about how much my mom has sacrificed and how much she's done for us. And the fact that she, drove me 10 hours in a car, like couldn't even buy a plane ticket. And just for a potential one day, gladly it turned into two. But yeah, so that story is a little bit of how much my mother has done for her kids.
All hail dance moms, all the way. You touched upon diversity and different things that are happening in the world of dance with opportunity. And there's been a lot of a push recently kind of bringing more awareness to the opportunities that do exist, both socioeconomic opportunities, and you mentioned you were on a scholarship, and then with gender equality and racial equalities in dance. What has your experience been with that, and have you seen anything, any trends, any things changing or happening recently in the dance world?
Yes, I think being Black, I've noticed with all of the movements happening, and thank God for Beyonce being one of the biggest artists in the world. Um, she kind of, I feel like, was one of the first artists at her stature to really promote Black dancers and Black music videos and just everyone being Black around her, because for the longest time, like some of my good friends are always, their nickname is like the token Black girl. And it's just like, 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't even think twice when people would say that because I was just so used to that being our world. It's good that we have become more aware in our community and I think across the nation and the world. So I see a lot more diversity on jobs that I see my friends doing, my friends booking. I see not just like they're adding Black people, but they're adding more Asians with weight. So I'm seeing more people doing awesome, great jobs that aren't super skinny, that aren't ripped with abs. I'm seeing more body diversity. I'm seeing more people that don't fit this little box that I feel like used to be considered a dancer. More people that were outside of that box are working now and are thriving and they're being featured. And I think it's so, so great. And it makes me really happy that the box has opened way more than it was just 5 years ago.
Yes, we're seeing things open up, and we want to see all types of bodies moving and all types of people moving, and that makes everything much more rich with what we get to see. And a lot of your work I can see, even though it's still photography, you can feel the motion and the movement in that. So how has your background in movement influenced your work with photography?
If I didn't grow up dancing or if I didn't have that background or the knowledge of dance and how to kind of manipulate your body in these cool, crazy poses, I would not be the photographer that I am because that's my focus is that, I think my niche and my brand is movement photos. And with dance, you just have such a good understanding of timing and when to capture it, when exactly that perfect split is going to be, or when that person is going off balance, and you can know when they're at the peak of falling off balance and then when they're actually falling, And so being a dancer has helped me tremendously because I honestly don't even know what my photos would look like if I hadn't trained in dance and toured with dance and gotten to be around so many different bodies and see what all these different people can do with their bodies. Like that really opened up my mind instead of it just being my body that I'm used to. So yeah, I think all of that has prepped me tremendously with creating the images that I've been able to create.
So you talked about your training in dance. You had quite a formal dance training, but with photography, you were very much self-taught. What does it mean to be a self-taught photographer? What does that look like?
A lot of trial and error, especially with lighting. Once I first got into lighting, because I was shooting with natural light from 16 until about 24-ish. And then I think around 24 was when I purchased lights, studio lights, and started playing with that. And, you know, I would look on YouTube for tutorials, look online for any questions that I had, tutorials online. Um, and that was pretty much it. The way that I like things has just been pretty much me playing around and seeing what works and what doesn't work and what I like and what I don't like. And, there's still so much that I have yet to learn. I think photography in general, there's so many different ways to do one thing. And same with editing. Photoshop, I feel like the edits are endless that you can learn how to do on there. So I always feel like I have so much more to learn no matter how nice a photo might look that I take, and I'm very proud of it, but I'm always, itching to find out new ways to get creative and new ways to kind of make my work stand out.
What role does dance currently play in your life? Are you still dancing? Do you have any adventures happening on that side of your two loves of dance and photography?
Since the pandemic, dance has gone down a lot, like work wise, taking class, all of that has gone down a lot. But I don't know. I'm not that worried because I know I'll never be able to fully leave dance. Like dance will always be a part of my life. Dance will always come in and out. So I feel like, I don't know if it's because I've just been super busy with photography. I haven't really had time to miss it in the sense of, I feel like you can miss something but you don't have to feel sorry that you're not doing it. I'm confident that, I'll be on set again at some point. So I'm not too upset about it.
Yes, and we're hoping to see a huge resurgence once things are getting more back to normal for all of the arts and all of the dancers who've been finding creative ways to do things or putting that on hold. That will be a really exciting time for everyone when we get to do that. Is there anything else that you've been dabbling in, or what does your outlook, what does the horizon for Lee Gumbs look like? Is photography a mainstay well into the future, or what does your horizon look like?
I don't see myself doing anything else. That could always change, of course, but I think photography is going to be the focus, at least for the next 5 years.
At Dance Muse, we're all about inspiring others by listening to stories to break through their limits or find their inner spark, find their photography. What would you say, what type of advice would you have to anyone who's kind of soul searching or maybe hesitant or right on the cusp of going after one of their dreams? Might you have any advice for them?
I think if you're on the cusp of going after something, you should just go for it. If it's possible, if it's not going to put you in any sort of burden, if it's something like, for me with photography, it's just about having a camera and taking photos. So it wasn't never put me to. I was never at this crossroads of should I do it, should I not do it. It was just like, of course I'm going to do it. It's easily accessible. Why not? Keep practicing, keep creating, keep testing. Trial and error is basically what got me to where I am today. So that would be my advice. I think you should always go for it as long as you don't end up homeless or bankrupt.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very wise. Is there anything else that you would love to share with our listeners?
I honestly feel like we covered it all. I just want to thank everyone for listening or watching, whatever platform you are viewing this on. Yeah, and thank you for having me and talking with me and having me share my experiences with everyone.
Well, thank you, Lee. It's been a delight for me for us to be able to chat. I feel like I haven't been talking to people very much. It's nice to connect over, even in this strange virtual Zoom connection world. Hopefully, next time we do this, we can do it in person and have some fun. We'd like to thank you for spending so much time with us. We invite everyone, check out Lee's work. You can find his work on his website, leegumbsphotography.com, and on Instagram. You'll see some of the beautiful things that we were talking about today. On Instagram, it's Lee Gumbs Photography as well. So Lee, thanks so much. We can't wait to talk again soon. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.